So far away, Nisha, what's your favourite kind of cake?
Oh, can't be a good Victoria sponge.
You boring bastard. Just the Victoria sponge. Anyway, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise enjoys a reputation as one of the nicest men in Hollywood, and there are many stories out there detailing the frankly extreme lengths the actor will go to make people like him. Something epitomised by the fact that Tom Cruise literally saved a bakery due to his seemingly crippling habit of sending everybody he knows a massive cake once a year, every year, forever.
To start with, this sounds pretty awesome. So what kind of cake would he send?
Well, Tom Cruise reportedly sends nearly everybody he knows, which we'll get to in a moment, a white chocolate coconut Bundt cake, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Diane's Bakery in California. And the story goes that Tom Cruise tried the cake when he was married to Katie Holmes, I think, because Diane Keaton, the actress, went, Tom, I know the best cake in the world. He bought the cake, he tried it, went, that is the best cake in the world. I must share it with fucking everyone. And you know that the white chocolate coconut Bundt cake from this bakery is very powerful in terms of cake because every website I consulted while researching this story capitalises its name.
Oh, God.
You know it's a powerful cake when you capitalise its name. You address it by its correct fucking rank.
It does sound pretty awesome, but I don't like coconut, so I wouldn't like that.
But it's funny that you mention that, Nisha, because even people who don't like coconut, who've tried this cake, say that it's the best cake they've ever had. For example, consider the case of Henry Cavill, who received one of the cakes from Tom Cruise after working with him on Mission Impossible Fallout, you know, the film where Henry Cavill reloads his arms. Anyway, according to Henry Cavill, when he received the cake, he looked at it, saw it was coconut, was like, oh, it's probably like some healthy coconut thing. Because Tom Cruise is a health-obsessed weirdo. I had to put it in my fridge, and he left it in his fridge for a couple of days until a friend came over and went, what's that? That's a cake from Tom Cruise. Like, what? You've got a cake from Tom Cruise and you've not tried it. Did Tom Cruise make it? And Henry Cavill didn't know he bought it. So he went, I think maybe he did make it. He probably did. Tom Cruise is weird like that. You have to try this cake. And Henry Cavill said he tried it, loved it, and then smash the thing in one sitting. Something you are able to do when your chest is wider than a car fucking bonnet. Because the cake is supposed to serve 16, and Henry Cavill ate it in one go.
16? Fucking hell.
That's all cakes though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing with all food, it says serves 4, and it's like, serves 1.
It's like when you get like an oven pizza, it's like, oh, serve 6. You're like, fuck off.
Like yesterday, I had, for my lunch, I had some tortellini, and it always says serves 2. I'm like, nah. It's just for me.
But it's worse though with stuff where it's like you open it up, it's like, well, I can't put it in the fridge. It's like, oh, a tin of beans. Half of serving it, like half a tin is one portion. No. make the tin smaller then in that case. You can bollocks, I'm going to eat the entire fucking thing. It's like when me and my brother were little, we used to get like beans on sausage split between us. It's like, there's not an even amount of sausages in some of the tins. So we'd argue over who got more sausage.
I don't like those.
Nisha.
The sausages.
Nisha on thin fucking ice right now. You're on thin ice talking about beans and sausage.
I'm sorry. I tried some the other day because I thought, now I'm a bit older, your taste change and stuff. I was like, I might like them now, and no, I just can't.
So I bet if Tom Cruise sent them, they'd eat them.
Probably.
Because Tom Cruise is insane. He's insane. Do you know he once rescued someone from like a burning building or some shit like that, or a car crash?
That does sound like Tom Cruise.
There's a story about him where he turned up late to set one day, and he's like, oh, what happened? Oh, there was an accident. And that's all he said. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, we're really sorry. I guess we'll start filming. The next day, in the paper, it's like, oh, car accident. The victim was dragged out of the car by Tom Cruise and driven to the hospital, and then he paid all the medical bills.
Okay, so if we're bringing it back to the cake.
Yes.
You mentioned that Tom sends it to people that he works with.
Yeah, but the thing is, you only need to work with Tom Cruise in a very limited capacity to be put on what is known as the cake list. And the best example of that being Kirsten Dunst, who appeared in a movie with Tom Cruise when she was 12, Interview with a Vampire, and reportedly still gets one every single year. And it is the highlight of her family's Christmas, because it gets sent around Christmas, it's hand-wrapped and delivered to your door. And they call it the Cruise cake, and it's the best thing, and they argue over who gets the biggest piece.
Oh my God. That's so sweet, though, isn't it? Like,
it's so sweet, yeah.
Just sends it every year.
And she talks about this in an interview with Graham Norton, and Graham Norton has never worked with Tom Cruise, but he has interviewed him, and he said, yeah, like, apparently I get one, but I didn't know because my crew eat it. We've got on one for years, and it's addressed to me, but my crew eat it every time. Apparently, it's very nice.
I was talking about you being on the cake list, and somebody said, oh, yeah, we get a cake from Tom every year. And I'm like, do we?
Doesn't make it
I've never seen the bloody cake. Yeah, someone in the office went, it's the nicest cake I've ever had.
And I don't think anything sums up how nice this cake is, that people will literally do that thing they do for a joke in Friends of stealing cake from someone's door.
Oh, yeah, the cheesecake.
Yeah,
that cheesecake looks amazing.
It does. And then, like, you get to that point where Chandler and Rachel are stealing it from the lady's front door. That's what I imagine happens on, like, Graham Norton's set, where it's like, oh, he's put outside, hand-delivered to his, like, dressing room door, and then his staff just steal it and eat it.
And it's funny because they drop it on the floor and they just eat it off the floor, and then Joey joins in saying, so what we having? He just pulls a fork out of his pocket.
With the fork he has on his person. And I imagine that's probably what the cruise cake is like, given how nice people say it is.
All right, what are we having?
The thing with cakes is I find it hard to find a really nice one. That's why I like the usual Victoria sponge, because I find cakes can be quite sickly and I don't like things that are too sweet, so I go for more the boring cakes. So it'd be nice to find a cake that's just perfect.
Yeah, I'm in that way as well. I can't eat. Do you know when you see like a wedding cake and it's got like an inch of fucking icing on it and you're like, ugh.
Oh God,
I can't do that. It's like my favourite cake is lemon cake. So I'm boring as well. But apparently this cake is so nice. Like, people working on the Graham Norton show risk getting fucking, like, reprimanded by stealing it from the person. It's like, they're literally stealing a present addressed to their boss and eating it. And then they told him about it.
Why would you tell him?
It's fuck it. It's ours now. We ate it. So you can reprimand us, but we've already eaten the cake. You'll never get to taste the cruise cake.
Imagine if he had it made specifically to, like, look like him. Like it was shaped like Tom Cruise.
Just shaped like his head. I do know that every single one is individually wrapped and sent to the person with a personal message from him.
Oh, that's sweet.
Like he doesn't do the wrapping, but he does write all the messages. And around Christmas time, celebrities on Instagram will post pictures of their cake. And apparently it's like a thing of, like, people who don't get one are annoyed because, like, you only have to have worked with crews in the most, like, limited capacity to get one. For example, there is a story told by documentarian Louis Theroux, who said that his cousin was working with Tom Cruise in some limited capacity and had a conversation with him. Because one of the things Tom Cruise likes to do is talk to everybody on set for at least 5 minutes and take photos and stuff like that if they want to. And they mentioned in passing, oh yeah, my grandmother turns 100 in a week or so. And then thought nothing more. They turned up to their grandma's 100th birthday party and there were 100 cakes from Tom Cruise.
Oh my God.
That's all you've got to do.
Oh my God.
And there were people who get them like, yeah, I met him for like 5 minutes at an event and he sent me a cake. The fuck?
They just found out where you live.
With a handwritten note from Tom Cruise, just sent to my door. I don't know how it got here. And as mentioned, he orders all these cakes from the same bakery. And according to the owner of that bakery, he orders so many that he kept them in business during the pandemic.
Holy shit. That's really good.
It's the pandemic, a lot of businesses are struggling during it. Not that bakery, because they got their massive fuck-off order from Tom Cruise of like 8 million cakes.
8 million?
And like... And in the interviews, they're talking, it's like, yeah, well, it's not surprising because it's happened before. He orders from us so much that his order alone is enough to keep us in business for an entire year. We don't need to sell any other cakes because his order alone will keep us in business.
That's insane. That is insane.
No, that's Tom Cruise.
That is Tom Cruise.
That's Tom fucking Cruise right there. So far away, Nisha. Cake? ?
Yes, cake. Much cake.
I love cake, but cake doesn't love me. And it especially does not love these hips.
Oh God, yeah. I think I've managed to stay away from cake during lockdown.
It's rough.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, I find it hard to eat a lot of sweet things. I'm more savoury than sweet, so I have to be in the mood for a proper cake.
The thing is, though, did you see that like, around Christmas time, instead of ordering like a Christmas cake or anything like that, you could order like a 16-person pork pie?
Yeah, I think I saw.
They were making all those like the one that I've always been tempted to get is those cake-sized Jaffa cakes.
Oh yes,
Do you know the giant Jaffa cakes? I've always been tempted to get one of them. Like, I look at it and go, I fucking love Jaffa cakes. I love anything citrus. I'm like, I could smash that in one go.
Jaffa cakes are amazing. I know someone who's like a family friend who's obsessed with Jaffa cakes, and he always gets them long tubes at Christmas.
The long tube. Thing is there anything that's more of a lie than those like, oh, it's a metre-long tube of Jaffa cakes, and you open it up and it's 4 separate packs of Jaffa cakes?
Yeah.
Bollocks to that. No. It's like you get it for Toblerones, don't you? Like around Christmas, they do like the metre-long Toblerones, and it's just 3 or 4 Toblerones in a row. You're like, no, give me a metre-long Toblerone. Give me a fucking metre-long Toblerone. I want it.
Oh, that thing where the sweet tins are getting smaller. You know, like the heroes and celebrations and stuff. They're just getting smaller every year.
Every single year, to the point where I use them for storage. I think like a lot of people do. And I've got one from a couple of years ago that I just keep like odds and bobs in. And it's like, oh, we have 1.5 kilos of chocolate, and the new ones are like half that. It's like, damn. Yeah. It also used to be made of metal.
There's like comparison photos of how it was a few years ago to now. And they're tiny. Or they get filled with sewing kits. That's another thing. You open it and it's just got like a sewing kit inside.
Well, it's similar to Cadbury's cream eggs. And for years, they got away with making the cream eggs smaller because cream eggs are a seasonal item. So they get released around Easter time, get withdrawn, and then a year later they come out and they're a little bit smaller. And for years, Cadbury always insisted, no, the eggs aren't getting smaller, you're just getting bigger. And that was completely debunked by the actor BJ Novak, Ryan from The Office, for people who don't recognise the name, who absolutely adores Cadbury eggs and buys hundreds of them when they're on sale around Easter and saves them in his house to have when he's hungry. And he went on live TV to call out Cadbury, and he brought 2 in, one from a couple of years ago, one for a new one, and he holds them up to camera and you can clearly see that one is smaller than the other. And he's like, I'm calling you out, Cadburys!
Again, Cadbury cream eggs. Too sickly.
They are too sickly,
but
God. have you seen that they sell the giant ones?
No, I've not seen those.
They sell like Easter egg size ones, but they're not full of the stuff that's inside. It's like, what's the point?
Can you imagine? Oh God, no! You can't eat one of those. If it was full of that stuff, no. Oh.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't handle sweet stuff anymore. Like, I cut sugar out of my diet as much as I could, and then just tried to eat like a Mars bar. And I now do that thing where I take 2 bites out of the Mars bar and put the other half in the fridge, and I'm like, I can't. I've become everything I hate.
It's like every Christmas I tell people don't get me chocolate because when I do get chocolate, it lasts about a year because I don't eat it, and it's like only the odd occasion where I fancy it. But then people still get me chocolate, and it's like
for Christmas, my mum got me a kilo of Skittles, and I love Skittles, but as I said, I've tried to cut sugar out of my diet. So there's just this kilo bag of Skittles just staring at me from the corner of my room. It's looking at me right now. I don't like it. Go away. Stop taunting. I don't know why I put it in my bedroom. It's a really bad idea. One bad day and I'm going to smash all of them.